Hello, I'm Barbara Lucas, and welcome to The Green Room, a collaboration between Washtenaw County and Ann Arbor's Community Television Network. Today's show focuses on the theme of reuse that benefits both the environment and people experiencing homelessness. Our first guest is Peggy Farrell, a member of the executive team of the local charitable organization called HouseN2Home. Peggy, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Barbara. Happy to be here.
So let's start with the basics. What kind of services does HouseN2Home provide?
We provide furnishings for families coming out of shelters and individuals also. Anything needed to make a house a home. So all the furnishings for the living room, the kitchen, the bathroom, the bedroom, all the kitchen dishes, silverware, glasses, you name it. Anything you have in your home, someone is going to have in their home.
About how many of these moves have you done?
We have, I think it'll be 250 this week.
Wow, that's great. And when did you start the program?
We started in earnest about 2 years ago. Ruth Ann Logue, our president, did a few moves before that, just with friends. But 2 years ago, we decided to get serious.
And how many people are helping you?
We have about 90 volunteers right now, and about 30 of them are almost daily volunteers.
Wow, it must take a lot of organization.
It does. Yeah.
How do you get these items? Do people drop them off or you pick them up?
A lot of it's word of mouth. We love it when people can drop off their donation. We do pick things up. We now have a big sprinter that fits a lot of things in it, and we try to do that as often as possible. But a lot of people have just heard of us now, and they call or they contact our website and ask if they can bring things in.
And do you have volunteers that keep an eye out on curbs or dumpsters or
Yes,
whatever?
always. I think I'd say one of the characteristics of our volunteers is they all love a good find, like something on the street, a chair, a couch, whatever. They love that.
I see so many things sitting out on the curb. I know that some of it gets picked up, but often it'll rain and the stuff will get ruined, the wood finish or the upholstery. You can't use these things after they get soaking wet.
Right. Yes. We love people to tell us ahead of time, like, we're going to be giving this away. Are you interested? And we ask people to send us pictures. So we'll ask for photos. If you want to donate a couch, we really do want to see it, because sometimes it's, someone's definition of gently used and ours is a little different.
Mm-hmm. And dumpsters, it reminds me of an article I read that there were dumpsters that the students were putting things in, and there was so much great stuff in there that the word got out and people were coming to try to save things, but they weren't able to get all of it because the city took the dumpsters away. So, landfilled the stuff. So I hope that you all get informed about things like this before something like that would happen again.
Yes, me too. And, we know when students are moving out, and we have actually had cars of volunteers driving around looking for items, because students will put things out by the curb. They'll put it in their own dumpsters, in their apartment complexes. And we have gone in to get things. So, things like perfectly good vacuums, TVs, Keurig coffee makers that have nothing wrong with them except the student no longer needs them and leaving town. So that part we were just amazed at how many things were being discarded.
Sounds like a real benefit to the environment, keeping all that out of landfills. And the whole idea that you're saving resources that went into these items and all the energy that went into manufacturing them, it's a shame to waste that.
To think it's going to get such a short life, right? There's a guy in town that we love. He literally goes around rescuing things in dumpsters. He has a job. He's a very successful man, but he was absolutely incensed that so many things were being tossed. And when he found out about us, he started giving us so many items. Hundreds of things TVs, vacuums, you name it, he would save them.
So what if some furniture has the finish damaged? Can you use something like that?
Yes, we're great painters. We have probably 10 people who love to refinish furniture. We do get a lot of paint donations, and we use every drop. I mean, I think we've probably painted about 200 coffee tables in the last 2 years. Dressers constantly. Really good at it.
Do they ever get artistic and paint on the things with colors and such?
All the time. And we're always trying to make it special. So if somebody likes a certain character, certain colors, we're going to make sure that shows up in their bedroom.
And how do you know what kind of taste people have?
Well, we constantly are asking questions. We want people to understand, our clients, that they are being heard. We ask, what colors do you like? What's your child's favorite character? What's your child's favorite toy? What books might they like? And by the time we've decorated their room, it's absolutely what they would want. And usually their name shows up somewhere in that room.
That's great. They must feel very much at home when they move in.
I hope so.
Do you provide anything to help them get through the first few days, such as any personal care items or food or anything like that?
Yes, we do. We leave them with all the personal items they would need to get by for at least a few weeks. We leave them things to do laundry, cleaning supplies, a new vacuum, or a repurposed vacuum, whichever we can find. They have everything they need. Food. We make sure they have a meal for the night they move in. We make sure they have groceries for at least 3, 4, 5 days if we can. We provide flowers because we think that's good for your soul. Makes us happy to leave them. We love to provide artwork. People have donated so many cool things that we've either had to paint the frames or touch it up a little bit. But once it gets on the wall, it adds a ton of character to the home.
And do you take things like mattresses? I know those are very rarely accepted by thrift stores.
Yeah. Mattresses are tough because we really want them to be in good shape, but we do take them. In fact, our donors give us pretty nice mattresses, very good quality to begin with, and then in really good shape. So one of the things we care the most about is what people are sleeping on. The bedding has to be beautiful. The mattress has to be clean. We make sure it's encased in a liner. We make sure it has, no bed bugs, no stains. And then we make sure the bedding on the top is really pretty. It's clean, it matches. I want somebody to go to bed and say, this is amazing. This is an amazing experience. And their children to say that. And that part really matters.
That's great. And mattresses are so hard to recycle. Even if, they are torn apart, the materials are really hard to, that's what I've heard anyway. So where do you store all this?
We have amazing storage right now at St. Joe's. They have kindly allowed us to fill up about 5,000 square feet with everything you can imagine. We have a room for kitchen things, a room for couches, a room for tables. Anything in a house, we have a room for it, which is great because then we can take all kinds of donations. We have a room to paint furniture in. We have a room to clean furniture, fix furniture. We have a lot of furniture that needs fixing. So it's just been amazing.
How about volunteer opportunities? I read on your website that groups could sponsor a move. That sounds really cool.
We've had so many groups sponsor moves. We've had Girl Scout troops, real estate companies, book clubs. Book clubs love to sponsor moves and do it. it's a very fun thing for a team of people to do. And if you're already friends or co-workers, that's just a great experience. If you ever want to come on a move, we'd be happy to have you, Barbara, because it really is inspirational.
Sounds really great on so many different levels. Well, we really appreciate everything you're doing, Peggy, and so glad you were able to come today and share. It's really inspirational, as you said.
Thank you, Barbara. Thanks for having me.
Now we'll cut to a short interview we did recently about another local program that focuses on keeping high quality products out of landfills and giving them to housing challenged people instead. But this time, it's not the big stuff that's provided, but the little stuff. I'd like to introduce Olivia Henz, Director of Outreach and Partnership at TheDotOrg, a nonprofit which was founded by students at the University of Michigan in 2017. Following today's theme of reuse that benefits both the environment and homeless people, the .org is filling some gaps, providing essential items that are often overlooked. So Olivia, what are some of these items that are often overlooked?
Most of these items include menstrual products. So that includes tampons, pads, menstrual cups. We also take underwear, both men's and women's underwear. We've started to take also or donate COVID essentials, including masks, hand sanitizer. Also in the winter, we do warming products like socks, hats, gloves, things like that.
Great. And why would somebody have some of these things around the house that are basically new, but they're not needing them anymore?
So a lot of times we find specifically with period products or hygiene products, people will buy a lot in bulk and then either they don't no longer have a cycle, they switch to a different product like switching from tampons to a menstrual cup, or they just realize they don't need those anymore. That happens a lot with period products, happens also with underwear. Like if you buy a bunch of underwear in bulk, you realize they don't fit, but there's all these brand new underwear. A lot of people just shove those in their closet. Same with socks and kind of bulk items. So we find that a lot of people have those lying around, and those are exactly the type of items that we're looking for. So, yeah.
And how is that an environmental advantage to be using those instead of tossing them away?
Specifically with period products, those are plastic, individually wrapped, and just tossing those things is definitely not great for the environment, especially when a lot of people really need those products, those essential items. So just by tossing them, they're going to end up in a landfill or in the ocean or someplace that's definitely not being used to its greatest potential, especially when there's already been a lot of resources put into manufacturing these products.
Mm-hmm. And when you think of all the women in the world that go through menopause, it's got to be a lot of things in their cabinets that they would feel really glad to have somebody be using. And I was reading that the shelf life, there's not an expiration date really, and they're perfectly good if they're sealed. I saw maybe 5 years, but that's almost limitless. So it's great that you're finding homes for these things.
Definitely.
So essential. I mean, we think about, like food and blankets and such being, very essential for homeless people, which they are, but you don't think about these other things. So are there other programs in Michigan that are doing something similar?
We have heard of others in the surrounding area in the Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Lansing region. However, we are the first one in Washtenaw County that is really tried to start a subscription service and kind of directly connect to the Ann Arbor community who's either in poverty or experiencing homelessness, and really trying to connect them with enough products every month.
How can people learn more about your program?
So we recently published an article in the ground cover issue for April. It talks all about our new subscription service that we just launched, and also a little background about the .org in general. So you can find out, you can pick up a copy there. I think they also post them on their website. You can also go to our website, which is the.org.org. And we also have Instagram accounts, the.org, Twitter, pretty much the .org on anything. If you Google it, you can find us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how I heard about you, from Ground Cover, which is a newspaper that's sold on street corners, if people aren't familiar with it. by people who are experiencing homelessness. So it's great. Thank you so much for being here today, Olivia. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
Both the programs we discussed today are very valuable services. Next time you're tempted to toss something, think twice. It may just make a world of difference to someone else. Thanks for being here with us today in the Green Room. For links to this and all our previous shows, go to washtenaw.org/greenroom.